And the reason why I want to underscore it is because this is essentially um, elevating grievances into legal rights and opportunities to profit. So you're creating an entire industry that's kind of built up on this gotcha of being invasive. And then if you know it's not just the state that's investigating, but could be anyone around you, think about how much your behavior is going to be chilled accordingly.
But also, what you're talking about is a vigilantism that is legislative and political, not necessarily at the tip of a gun or a
Yeah.
knife or whatever violent object, a car, but in terms of denying people rights. And one example would be this Texas law, SB 8, which
Yeah.
deputizes people to turn in healthcare providers for providing women with abortions.
I'm glad you mentioned SB 8 because in some ways, so SB 8 is the law that predated, but only by a few months, the national abortion ban, sorry, the overturning of the Supreme Court's decision in Roe v. Wade that guaranteed the right to reproductive autonomy for 49 years. Everyone kind of who followed the Supreme Court closely knew that Roe v. Wade's days were numbered. And so a few months beforehand, Texas passes this state law that allows individuals to privately sue doctors, nurses, even the taxi driver, the Uber driver who takes you to the clinic, potentially any employer who gives you the day off and it knowing that you're going to have an abortion because you're all facilitating what they would, the termination of an unborn an unborn life, as they would phrase it. And so you could bring challenges to this, even though you have no personal stake in the outcome. You're not a shareholder of of Uber. You're not on the board of directors of the hospital. You're just a neighbor, and you could bring a suit. And the financial damage for bringing these cases are devastating. So overnight, all the healthcare clinics in Texas shut down. And that again speaks to the chilling effect. You don't actually need to have lawsuits as long as there's a credible threat to lawsuits.
Mhm.
So what's going on here? Why did Texas do this when the state could simply ban abortions as they did the minute that Roe v. Wade was overruled in a case called Dobbs? And that's the kind of challenging question. What is going on? So a couple of reasons why I think they do this, and this I think completely maps onto the gender affirming example that's much more recent. Individuals can reach much further than the government. So who did the clinics that shut down fear? Okay, they feared that a disgruntled employee was going to have over some issue that has nothing to do with the culture wars, would be like, I want to screw my employer, and so I'm going to rat them out, and they're going to suffer from that. Or a moral gadfly who finds it reprehensible that their healthcare facility supports abortion rights, and so they're going to rat them out. Or someone in the office who's upset because so and so always gets special privileges, and now they're getting a day off for making, again, speaking in the language like a bad choice, and now they get rewarded for it, right? So it's all these people, or someone looking out the window. Who's the neighbor in Bewitched? Gladys Kravitz,
Travis?
looking out the window. I'm dating myself here, but looking through the window, always seeing what the neighbors are up to, and then picking up the phone and causing a stir. Right. So what motivates that? And this was central into the Supreme Court case about the constitutionality of SB 8. And the question that was raised, including by Justice Thomas, was like, what is the injury here? What is the neighbor's injury here? And the Texas lawyers said the tort of outrage, that I'm just offended. And that's not really grounded in our legal understandings. Usually there has to be an economic or physical injury and not just this kind of emotional, I wish the world were different from the way it is. And even it tripped up Justice Thomas on this point. And the reason why I want to underscore it is because this is essentially elevating grievances into legal rights and opportunities to profit. So you're creating an entire industry that's kind of built up on this gotcha of being invasive. And then if you know it's not just the state that's investigating, but could be anyone around you, think about how much your behavior is going to be chilled accordingly. And the last thing I want to say on this is don't overlook, or I don't want you to overlook the point about people feeling like it's now their job to enforce the culture wars, how that's building and strengthening a right-wing political base. Because all of a sudden now they've gotten off their couch and they're not just griping about, oh, I can't believe so and so had an abortion, but now they're the lever of punishment. And how else, once they've been the lever of punishment in that context, where else are they going to take or the hammer of punishment? Where else are they going to take that hammer next? And how can this further mobilize a movement that is a real minority movement? There's not a lot of Christian nationalists out there. So you have to make them kind of foam at the mouth in order to have them have the political intensity to be a sizable force in America going forward.
Join us next week when Stanford's Larry Diamond joins the former ambassador, Michael McFaul, in conversation, Trump's foreign policy, the impact on global democracy and U.S. national security. So a great foreign policy discussion. Be well, be good, be active, and I'll see you next time.